Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Mam. Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Raksha Mam. Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Pahi Mam. Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Raksha.
Suggested maybe she should stay back and stay in US. She agreed, and she said, I'm going to do some studies. And said, what studies? I'll figure out. And she went, and by herself she went and found the college in Portland and got her studies started. And after a couple of quarters, then she said, I want to go do my MBA. So, okay, that's a whole process. And she said, no, and she said, I'll figure out. And then she worked through, she got admission, she went to St. Louis, got the admission, did it in 1 year, and got it all completed all by herself. And amazing determination. And then she said, I want to go and work. And she took a job in Maryland, and she started working. One day she calls and says, I want to apply for my green card. And I said, and I'm always a very, very optimistic person. So I said, you can't get green card. You don't have a technical degree. It's going to be a big process. It's very difficult. You can't do that. She says, no, I'll figure out. I'll do it. And she said, I told her, you need a lawyer. She said, no, I don't want to get a lawyer. I'll just do it myself. And I didn't know anybody who had filed for green card by themselves without using a lawyer. And she said, I'll figure out. And she did. She applied, and she used to call every day. Within a year and a half, she got her green card and got done amazingly fast, just all by herself. And determination is amazing. This is something which, I learned from it. Sometimes we just give up too easily, and she was not the type who will give up. As I'm mentioning about, friends, she has friends all over the place. When we were at Wharton, she came, stayed with us, and then that's where she made a lifelong friend, as you know, Abhi. So it's just been it's hard for us at this moment to talk about her life as if it's in the past. Uh, but anyway, as we as we came here about 2 weeks ago, we were thinking, we'll come here for a week, spend some time, then go back and come back later, spend more time. But God had different plans. And, during that time, she is so determined. She had a big checklist. I need to get this thing done, and everything was all listed out. And she went through each and every list. She was so determined. It seems like she was going through a lot of pain, but she was holding off because so that she can spend time with the family, spend more, and share what she wanted to talk about, and went through everything. And it's so meticulous. I was last week I was looking through some of the albums here, and I was surprised. At the end of the albums, there is notes. Where is the negative? What's the envelope number of the negative? Where you can find that negative for that photos. Amazing level of details. Voice notes, all the memos which she has written, they're all over the place, and amazing to see how well she has trained the kids also, so that they are prepared. She has done an amazing job. Um, so I'll stop here, but I want to thank all of you for coming here, and I'll ask the next person to come and speak. So I'll ask my sister Sangeeta to come up and say a few words.
So my name is Sangeeta, and I'm technically her older sister, 2 years older, and it's totally impromptu because there's a lot going on in our family right now. So I didn't sit down and wrote a script or anything. So I'm going to start from the beginning. I'll make it short, but we'll start from the beginning. So Sonia was my younger sister. She was so fair, so beautiful, so chirpy, so talkative. She would eat people's ears off, constantly talking. And was the favorite of everybody, the entire neighborhood, my mom. Everybody loved to have her over because she would just tell the whole story about her whole house, about the mom, dad, everything. It was just wonderful to see her because I was the quiet one. I was the older one, the dependable one, the quiet one who would just watch and enjoy all the glory that she's getting and all the attention she gets. And guess and I remember in the school, in the elementary school, we will all three of us will have our little bags set up on the driveway when the bus will take us. Moment we come home, this is what she would do. She's younger to me. Her homework is sitting in front of her. We are all sitting with our homework because we have to finish the homework before we play. And I'm sitting with my homework because I got to go play too. But she will put her homework right in front of me and she said, Didi, you got to do this first before you do yours. And then you go and play. And what does she do? She's already playing. So that's my little one. That's the way she tortured me, abused me all the time from that time till now. Okay. And even let's say several years later, even when I come to her house, she's like, okay, she has all the medications sitting in front of her, everything, the whole closet, drug closet is in front of Didi. You need to look at everything, put the expiration, put what it is for. If it's for nausea, if it's for diarrhea, if it's for this, I need everything written down so it's easy for me. And what is she doing? She's going and socializing, whatever she has to do. So she made, and if my papa has to come, she's make sure it's repair work. Papa is he repairs everything. So she has everything lined up for papa also when he's visiting because he's doing his stuff. I have to do whoever. She has to make sure everybody is put at a task where they're good at. So let's go backwards. So I'm going back. We're growing up, and then she was sick as a child. I mean, it's HIPAA, but you know what? She has asthma. So she had issues and she was in and out of the hospital here and there and she had bronchospasm and I used to tell her all the time, I used to look at her and say, you know what, when I get older, I'll be a doctor and I'll change your lungs into plastic lungs. So you don't have all that trauma that you go. My dad used to carry her in the middle of the night to the hospital ER, I remember. And then she missed out a lot on school. And very determined. This girl was so determined. She missed years of school, but then she took high school, which we call online here. There it was like mail. She used to do all her courses on mail back and forth, and she graduated on her own with her total determination and hard work. Went to college, had fun. She had all the fun when I was in med school because she was enjoying life to the fullest. I was dying in anatomy. But anytime I had stressed out, I had exams, I'll come home and I'm going to study all night. And we had one room in which we had two twin beds, one for her, one for me, and I had a desk all night. And she knew I was going to pull all-nighters back to back because we used to have exams back to back. She was so thoughtful. Always, she made sure that Didi is up all night because she has to study. She'll go in the kitchen, make quick tea for me. She'll have a little container in which she'll put some oil and she'll make papad for me and she'll bring it for me. So I'm awake all night. I mean, I would not know. I mean, I would do it for my kids, but she used to do it for her sister so she could do her exams. And she was just always very, very thoughtful all the entire time I went through my med school. So when she tells me to do stuff on her meds, I mean, I don't mind at all. And then her answer is, you know what, Didi, you are lucky I'm not making you make house calls. I'm like, seriously? She'll call me and says, what do you think I should do? I'm like, okay, I'll call in this Zithromax for you. She's like, no, you are lucky that you are not making house calls for me. She total torture. But that's her. That's her. Very loving, very honest, very dependable, very detail oriented. She came to US, she made a life of her own. As you know, as my brother said, she fell in love with Abhi. That's another big story. One of these days we'll get there. It was a total movie love story. And she got married. She did have wonderful, wonderful years with Abhi and she raised such beautiful kids. She gave her all to raising these wonderful kids, made sure they understand the culture, the religion, they pray, and she became very, very spiritual over the years. Just so sad that, you know, she got something that, I mean, we just don't have a cure for. And it pretty much was one of the most rapidly progressive ALS that I have seen. And I'm in the field and I know it's very frustrating and it's just totally ridiculous. But She wanted to meet the Lord, and she was always very spiritual. And I used to tell her all the time, you know what, leave God for other people too. You're totally occupying all God's time. Other people have to pray too and get their wishes fulfilled. But I think she loved him way too much, and she eventually joined him. And I know that she is at a better place. And I know she was really, really miserable last few times, at least the times last few times when I came, not able to breathe, not able to talk, not able to swallow, not able to move your fingers. It was really, really rough. It was, and I said that, I'm like, it's just, you can't, it's like you gotta go. So yes, she's at a very happy place, she's at a better place. She and I just feel for the family. But I think we are all in it together. She made sure the night before she sat down with me for 4 hours. She had all my job lined down again. Even when she could hardly talk, we had like 4 hours in which she made sure, Didi, you have to do this, 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 this. Everything was very organized, details done. She had everything planned, notes written down for the girls, for everybody. So, for the entire family. So I'm going to really, really, really miss her. She's my best friend is gone. Sorry, guys, too long. Thank you so much.
I do want to add to it what Sangeeta was saying. Even though she mentioned about earlier, she used to have a lot of fun. But I remember from the times when she was studying here, it was, one day she has an exam, and I asked her, "Hey, why are you so worried?" She says, "I haven't gotten my third revision done yet." you know and I'm wondering, I have taken many exams, I didn't even finish the course one time, and she's on talking about third revision. So she was, when she made up her mind, this is what she wants to do, she will go all out. Next we go to Tanuja Shah, and then Sue Hanks.
There are many people we meet in our life, but very few make a lasting impression in our minds and hearts. They like you for who you are and support you at all times, good or bad. Sonia was that person for me. Sonia was a caring, loving, warm, bubbly, and spiritual with a big smile and a positive attitude. She was a very soft spoken, but her laughter was very loud and contagious. Who was Sonia for me? Knowing her over the years as a neighbor, going to basketball games with our daughters, Alicia and Naomi, my daughter, they were the classmates, um, going to basketball games where Abhi was a coach. We developed a close friendship, um, and through the years, I was intrigued by her fondness of Lord Krishna and her spiritual talks. Soon she became my spiritual partner and a friend. She encouraged me to go to Chinmaya Dham meditation with Swamiji every Saturday. Every Friday, she would either call or text me and let me know, remind me that Swamiji is in town and we can go for a meditation. It became a routine for us. We did it for about 1 year. We would meditate together, and after that, we would stand in a parking lot and talk about everything and anything that was going in our lives. She was not just a spiritual friend to me, but she was to many of our other friends as well. I remember when my dad was at Merwick in a hospice care, she came there, sat down with me for 2 hours, held my dad's hand, and chanted mantras for 5 minutes and comforted me, telling me that God is watching all of us. On a funny note, while she was working in a high school as a volunteer or a sub, she would spy on not only her kids, but she would spy on my kids, and I'm sure many other neighborhood kids as well. So one day she called me and she says, Tanuja, and I had a son at that time in high school. Tanuja, I think Nolan has a girlfriend. and, you know, uh, it turned out that Nolan was asking one of his classmates to go out for a prom night with him. Uh, to this date, my son has not confirmed nor denied. She must have had a special bond with my husband Nihir as well. Funny thing is, she would text him thinking that she's texting me. And people who know Nihir is Nihir, he would go along as if he was Tanuja. And she would, when she finds out, she would just burst into a huge laugh. So that was our Sonia. I came across something while I was reading and thought it perfectly describes Sonia. I will ask Nihir to read that.
Yeah, before I read that poem, I still have her messages almost once or twice a year since dating back to 2015. She would text me thinking that I'm Tanuja. She's texting Tanuja, and we'll just go back and forth multiple times until I will reveal that Sonia, you're texting me here. And she continued to do that every year at least once. I was just going through some text messages from her last night, and I found that every year she did that. So anyway, this is a beautiful poem which describes Sonia very well. Don't remember me with sadness. Don't remember me with tears. Remember all the laughter we have shared throughout the years. Now I am contented that my life it was worthwhile, knowing that I passed along the way, I made someone smile. When you are walking down the street and you have got me on your mind, I'm walking in your footsteps, only half a step behind. So please don't be unhappy just because I'm out of sight. Remember that I'm with you each morning, noon, and night. So in closing, Sonia, a life so beautifully lived, deserve to be beautifully remembered in our hearts forever and always. We'll miss you.
Hello there, I'm Sue. My husband's Richard. We live on Hilltown Court, and absolutely beautiful hearing that poem because we met. Which I'm going to get really upset. We met Abby and Sonia on a walk actually, and then we sort of continued to be friends. And a lot of our friendship, Sonia and I, was having our weekly walk through the neighborhood and just laughing and having fun the whole time. And she was always the real joy. And bearing in mind this was 8 o'clock in the morning, and that's quite hard for me to share any joy at 8 o'clock in the morning. She did a great job. So she would drive her car, and she would always make sure she was outside the house at 8 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes I would have texted sort of early going, oh, it's raining, and she would appear and she would go, I have umbrellas. And she loved walking in the rain, and I will always think of her, in the rain particularly, because she was like, no, we're out, come on, we're going to take this walk. And we just had such a lovely friendship, and I always knew that when we met, we would always just have a great time laughing. And she was always so kind and always just spoke really so lovingly about her family and her beautiful children, and I'm so proud of her children and her family, and just always a kind word to say about absolutely everybody. I never heard her say a mean word about anybody. She looked for the light and the joy in everything. And I walk regularly with, she knew my dog Lucy, I walk regularly with Lucy, and I we never, as a family, take a walk without talking about Sonia. We do the same route, and I was very fortunate to meet her and have such a beautiful friend, and she'll be in my heart forever. Thank you.
Hi everyone. So I'm going to read a note from Charlotte Christian now. Sonia's departure to her maker has saddened me. In 2020, I took a closer journey with her as she was trying to understand and deal with her health. I called her in the last week of February, but she was in distress. The first time I felt that I'm losing my original Sonia, my friend who was very bubbly. She was most kind, always smiling, never raised her voice or got upset. She was always concerned about everyone. Early last year, when I received a call from her, she sounded the same as 30 years ago. Her smile, sound of her voice, and concern about me. She was calling me to see how I can help her in her healing journey with traditional Chinese medicine. I have many things to say from our late night conversations with cups of tea, but the only thing I want to say is that God needs people like her too, so he decided for her to leave this mortal body and join him. Her smile, contagious spirit, and compassionate heart would be missed by everyone, especially by her family. Sonia, I love you, will miss you, and I hope I could have done more. We will see each other in heaven one day. Rest in peace.
Next, Suman will read out a message from Portland Friends, and after that will be Nidhi.
Yes, Sonia came to stay with us in summer of '88, and we had a group of friends in Portland, and she was immediately adopted as everybody's little sister. And we had a great fun while she was there with us, and then she moved on to St. Louis to do her MBA. So these are a couple of very close friends, or I would say Portland family for us, who have sent some notes for her. So the first note I'm going to read is from Gidu. And so as for Gidu's words, I believe it was 1988 when I first met Sonia. She is remembered by all of us as the little sister of the Dastar family. She is the first girl to call me Bhaiya in my life, and she truly meant it. Me having grown up in a family of boys, she became an instant sister to me. Her image as a young girl is frozen in mind, as I never got to see her after she left Portland. As far as I am concerned, she is still my little sister, looking as young, as cheerful as ever. Though we did not keep in touch much either after that, only wishing each other for birthdays, but but the words connecting or the bonds connecting us will stay forever. My last correspondence with Sonia was in November of 2018, when we were going through a crisis of our own with Uma's health. Here is what she wrote to me on November 9th. Hello Gidu Bhaiya, today is Bhaiya Dooj. Kind of Rakhi, so wish you a happy Bhaiya Dooj. Heard about Uma Bhabhi's health, and I'm praying for dear Uma Bhabhi's full recovery. We do weekly meditation at our home and are praying for her. She will be perfectly fine. Sonia. Uma and I are forever grateful for Sonia because her prayers did work and Uma recovered from her problems and doing well now. This entire creation, including our lives, is made up of pairs of opposites, and we need to take the good with the bad, joy with sorrow, and so on, as the pair of opposites are just part of the cosmic law that we have to abide by. Life does not end with the demise of the body. The soul continues in a new body and goes from one life to another. As someone once said, you are truly gone only when you are no longer in anybody's mind. And Sonia will, in that sense, Sonia will be with us for a very long time, living in our memories. The one thing I have learned from the Western culture is how to grieve. Rather than mourn the loss of the loved one, It is better to celebrate the life of the person and bid farewell to the soul as it continues its journey. My best wishes and blessings to my little sister as she continues on this journey of life. With lots of love from Gidu Bhaiya. The second note is from Uma, Sonia's bhabi beside me, and Gidu's wife. The memories of meeting Sonia and the time spent with her are so fresh in our minds. I was so happy to have a friend when she came to visit Suman and Sanjay. She was funny and laughed a lot. Sonia was curious about everything and pretty adventurous too. Thus began our journey of exploration during the day. We walked the Olsen Road many times in the afternoon from one end to other when Sanjay and Suman were at work. We never missed our entry into JCPenney and tried to test all the perfumes there. She had an eye for fashion and she would never come out of the Washington Square Mall without carrying a bag or two in her hands. She wanted to learn South Indian cooking from me so we could make the kitchen a war zone in the late afternoons. With little knowledge I had in South Indian cooking, she truly thought I was a very good cook, and it was a disappointment to her that I didn't know how to make dosa at that time. Later in the evening, the two families will come together and relish dinner, whatever we have made, and indulge ourselves in late night movies. She was such a movie buff that she could keep awake till 3 or 4 a.m. Such good times could continue through the weekend and with visiting with each other and friends and going hiking and volleyball. She knew how to enjoy life and she always had a plan for future as well. We couldn't keep in touch after she moved away from Portland, but Sanjay Bhaiya and Suman kept us up to date about Sonia and her family. I can imagine how Sonia would have nourished her family and her friends with her bubbliness, love, and affection. She was a person full of life. I believe that she is with us in our hearts and minds with her everlasting bubbliness. Hey, friend, with a heavy heart, we bid you farewell, and as you continue your journey spreading bubbliness, rest in peace. With lots of love, Uma Bhabi.
Next is Nidhi Makija. After that, Natasha will read Ambreen Razak note, and then we will have is Padma and Niru.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Nidhi. I've been fortunate to be Sonia's friend in this life, and it was an interesting quirk of fate that brought us together. And I think our friendship blossomed over the years. But what was interesting was our kids fell in love with each other. They were best friends. Our husbands worked together, respected each other, got along so well. And of course, Sonia and I were very thick. So we all have lost a great friend in Sonia. I just wrote down a few thoughts that I wanted to share today. It is still hard for me to accept that you have left us. We never got a chance to say goodbye. A dear one's loss, as hard as it is deeper when you have had to stay away due to pandemic and have not been able to talk to each other as often as you would like because she had speech difficulties. I still feel I will hear her lovely laughter echoing through the walls of this house. This house where we spent umpteen moments of happiness, togetherness, and affectionate friendship. I have known Sonia and family for more than 15 years now. Have fantastic memories of us camping together, hiking together, celebrating Diwali, New Year's, sometimes just hanging out for no reason. She was a sister from another mother to me. Giving love and encouragement to my kids. One of the few confidants I would turn to during a rough patch in life. Even though we did not meet every week, we live a little far further up central New Jersey. Not even every month, but I will treasure the hour-long conversations that we used to just have on phone, catching up with each other's lives. We discussed every possible philosophy of life with each other, from husbands to children to mothers-in-law to growing in India to our lives in America. We even had plans to grow old together. I valued her simple, down-to-earth nature and her beautiful, affectionate spirit. And of course, who can miss the non-stop chatter? Sonia, your mark on my life is indelible. The positivity of Krishna Kendra that you brought into our lives, your fun-loving disposition, your always bubbling nature showing appreciation for everyone. I don't know how many times I heard you say, "Oh, how sweet." People try to be sweet and kind, but you personified it. Sonia, you have lived a life of purpose, brought so much joy and care for all your loved ones. I can see your reflection in your kids. When Alicia and Natasha took charge of everything after your passing, I knew you were there beside them, guiding them in these difficult moments. You've taught them well, but I still want to say, don't worry about them. Me, Rajesh, Anushka, Ashna are standing steadfast for them as we did for you. We will remain an integral part, sharing every moment of their life with them. Sonia, even though the last few months of your stay here were painful, I know you are in a happy place now. When I saw you the day you left us, I knew my life here has changed forever. I was very perturbed. But it was as though you were speaking to us and telling us that you're healthy and painless on the other side, ready to laugh and chat again. In the last few months, you chose not to let any of us meet you or speak to you. In your suffering, you still cared for us, so we could preserve your smiling, happy face in our memories forever. Today, I'm thankful that you chose to come into my life, into our lives, and brought me so many invaluable gifts of the soul. Goodbye, soul sister. You will be missed dearly.
Hi everyone. So I'll first read a note from one of her close friends, Amreen, and then Nero Auntie, you can come up, and Padma Auntie after that. I was truly blessed to have Sonia in my life. She was one of my best friends for over 2 decades. What a kind and gentle soul she was. She brought joy to everyone wherever she went. Her ultimate passing away has left a deep void in our lives. You will be missed immensely, Sonia. The beautiful memories of our friendship shall forever live in my heart. I will miss our early morning talks, her vibrant and fun personality and unique laughter. Even though we didn't meet often, she was a friend I could talk to about anything at any time and expect nothing but comfort in return. I can never forget how she stood by me in the toughest of times and she did not flinch for a moment to offer support. I am filled with immense sadness to say goodbye to my precious friend. She will forever hold a special place in my heart. I hope and pray that Abhi, Alicia, Natasha, and Krishna find the strength and courage to bear this great loss because I'm almost certain she's doing danga up there. Rest in peace, my friend.
Hi everyone. This is harder than I thought it would be. I met Sonia and Abhi in winter of '97 at my cousin's place in Philly. Alicia was just a baby then. Sonia and I hit it off right away. She had a vibrant, engaging, and charming personality, and she was just a joy to talk to. At the end of the party, we exchanged phone numbers, although neither one of us knew if we would ever see each other again. Then a few months later, I got a call from Sonia saying that they had moved to West Windsor area because of Abhi's job, so we reconnected. Sonia's warm and welcoming ways made it super easy for us to get close quickly. And that was the start of a very special friendship that we both cherished. In fact, we became so close that both of our families took a trip to Puerto Rico in 1999 and had several adventures. I got to see Sonia's wild and daring side. Frankly, it matched my daredevil husband's crazy personality, who's no longer with us. During one of our excursions, Sonia and my husband Pradeep jumped from a high cliff into a waterfall, while Abhi and I stood far away with our kids, watching them just having a blast. I don't know about Abhi, but I was literally gasping and praying that they get back safe. By the way, Sonia was doing all of this while she was 3 months pregnant with Natasha. But she hadn't told us that she was expecting. I guess she knew if she had told me, I would have had a leash on her. Sonia was born on Halloween, so I'm not surprised at her behavior. Anyway, it was one of our most memorable and enjoyable trips, and that's how I will always remember Sonia. I'd like to share something Sonia gave me on my birthdays. It's a beautiful gift, and it has inscription in it, and it says, "Some people come into our lives and quietly go. Some stay a while and leave footprints on our hearts, and we are never the same." I would say Sonia was one of those people for me. But I can see clearly she was one of those people for many of you. Sonia was a very sweet, kind-hearted, loving friend who was always smiling. The last few times when my daughter and I visited their home, we saw how lovingly Abhi, Alicia, Natasha, and Krishna were always by her side and taking outstanding care of her. My son Rishi, who lives in San Francisco, FaceTimed with Sonia last month, and she was cracking jokes as if nothing was wrong. During one of our visits, Sonia and I got to talk privately and had a heart-to-heart. Her memory was sharp, and we reminisced over many experiences. We laughed, we cried, and we both said we would meet again. Thank you.
I'm Padma Ganesh. I know Sonia for more than 8 years. I'm so blessed to have her as my friend.
and Sonia, they go a long way. When we moved in here in 2003, they were the first family we met through our daughter, Matangi and Alicia. They went to school from first grade. They were close friends. And through the interactions, we became so close. Padma and Sonia became very close. Absolutely no formalities between us. And whatever help we needed, she was there without even asking. So once we came back from India and I had to go on a tour, office trip somewhere, and Padma got sick here and she could not even go to doctor. And she did not know whom to call also. I was talking and I casually Sonia had called and she just mentioned that she is sick. And within half an hour she was at her home with uh, um, a vessel full of soup, and also on the way she picked up some Tylenol. She made her comfortable till I came back. She was checking on her every hour to see that she is not having any other medical issue, any emergency. And for my daughters also, we feel very kind of obliged or because she navigated us through the whole US system. We didn't even know um, what to do in school or what subjects to take and all those things. She helped us to navigate the whole school system. And see, every moment we spent with her, that is the enthusiasm she showed was really something we always will be cherishing. Even when we visited her a month back or two, her question was about Padma's health rather than we came to inquire about her well-being. It turned the other way. She started talking about how we are feeling. She was making us more comfortable, and I don't think anyone can replace kind of Sonia's personality in this world. We really miss, but again, it's time to celebrate. I hope she's somewhere looking upon us, and she's going to guide through the entire family and us throughout.
She prepared the kids like anything. The kids have developed that attitude to handle everything. That's why I really appreciate her. I've learned a lot from Sonia. I miss her so much.
Thank you very much. As you have seen, it's a you you can reminisce anything good things you have seen. If you feel like crying, don't hesitate. This is it's okay. We have to let it out. So please don't. If it's a joyous things you remember, do bring that. I know separation is hard. So please, if there is anything you want to say on that, please do. Next, we'll have Audrey, and then Pravina. After that, if anybody else wants to speak, just come by and then can speak. And then we'll close with a few family members.
Hi, everyone. My name is Audrey, and I've known Sonia almost 20 years. We met when Natasha and Emily were infants. That's my daughter. She was the most kind, loving person I ever met. And the way I would describe her to anybody is that you would know her as soon as she walked in a room because her eyes would twinkle and she had the biggest smile and she loved to give hugs. I can't even imagine what COVID would have been like for her if she had been well and out. I'll never forget, the first thing she always would say to me was God and family and friends are above all the most important thing. And when I lost my father, and then shortly after my mother, I remember telling her that I was angry and upset because as much as I love God and I believe in God, I couldn't understand why this happened. And she said to me, and this is how I feel about her, is God obviously needed a good soul to do good from up above and to watch over all of us. And that's who she was. And Alicia, Natasha, Krishna, Abhi, you guys were her whole world. and I love her. And I could have gone months without seeing her. And then when I did see her again, it was like if we didn't even go for 5 minutes without seeing each other. So just please keep her always with you, because she's someone so special, and we all need Sonias in our lives. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. The very fact that so many of us have gathered here today in remembrance of our dear friend Sonia is in itself testimony to how loved she was by all of us. The joy for life and beauty beaming smile touched and affected people she met, and I was no exception. There is a flood of memories of more than 12 years of friendship. Our bond grew stronger with every year, and we shared everything that two friends can. We met for the first time when she came to drop Alicia for a play date with my daughter Sanjana. We connected immediately. We enjoyed talking about our kids, school, and how we can volunteer in the community and explore extracurricular opportunities for our kids. Her love for her children was deep, and she reveled in their accomplishments. She felt sheer joy and delight in spending time with them. I remember having fun driving and checking out all the parks in West Windsor and Plainsboro to finalize 4 parks suitable for the outdoor summer camp our girls wanted to do to create environmental awareness with younger kids. We hung around with them and as mentors and supervisors and relished with them while they conducted the camp. We had many outings, adventures, day trips, cruise with our families too. There was never a dull moment with her around. She loved to laugh and would see the funny side and make jokes about everything. Another quality and which I admired about her was her love for the country of her birth, India. She was deeply connected to her roots and made many efforts to familiarize Alicia, Natasha, and Krishna with the Indian language, culture, and traditions. She narrated to me with great pride an incident when she made a family trip to Brazil to see the Olympic Games. They made it a point to watch the events in which Indian sportsperson and athletes were participating. They were the lone family from United States uh, cheering the loudest for them and waving the tricolored Indian flag. She showed us that no matter how hard life can be, we must all learn from it every day and embrace every moment of it. Losing such a lovely friend so untimely is certainly beyond the power of our will. She will live in our hearts and our memories forever, and our love and support will remain with her family as always. I will end with these words. My dear Sonia, your memory is my keepsake, with which I will never part. God has you in his keeping. I have you in my heart. Thank you.
I'll just say a small prayer. Those of you who know this Mahamrityunjay Mantram, please repeat after me. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. My name is Rajan. I'm from the Chinmaya Mission, and a few more of us are from here from Chinmaya Mission. We know Abhi and Sonia because they used to be part of the Chinmaya Mission. Sonia used to come to learn yoga from me, and she was a very devoted student. She used to practice everything I used to tell, and she used to come back and give me feedback, ask very intelligent questions. But the question is, Why did she have to leave us? And the answer is in the small prayer that I just said. This is from our scriptures, from the Rudram actually. There is a word in this mantra, Urvarukam. And Urvarukam is nothing but a pumpkin. If you have seen a pumpkin, the way a pumpkin behaves is if you need to take out a pumpkin, you need a really big knife to cut it. It's so tough, the branch that holds it. But the moment it is ripe, it falls off by itself. You don't need any force to pull it out. This prayer is saying that when it's time for you to go, you just go. But if somebody wants to make that happen before, you cannot make it happen. So this is the reality that we all have to accept, that when it's time to go, and you go to a better place. And I'm sure Sonia is in a better place now, and she's looking down at all of us and meeting all her other relatives who are there. And that's the way to look at this from our scriptures. And so truly you have named this occasion beautifully as a celebration. It is a celebration. And we should just look at her life, the life she has lived here. And like the Urvarukam, it was time for her to leave. Thank you very much.
There's a lot I could say by now, and it's pretty difficult to find the right words to express the impact that my mom made on me, my whole family, and everyone here today, but I'll try my best. So like someone said beforehand, people would smile when she walked into the room. She lit the whole place up, and the second you began talking to her, you would befriend her even if she didn't know you beforehand. She would make people laugh and smile constantly, and that was just something that she had that was a unique characteristic that's pretty difficult to find in anyone. But we had a number of very good memories that I can share today. So we used to hold salsa practices at my house, which was a dance club I was involved in. And for that, she would welcome all of my friends coming in the door as if they were her own children. And she would provide them a lot of like different snacks and drinks, and nobody would ask for it, but she would do it on her own. And she would just welcome everyone and make them feel at home, even though she probably didn't know half of them. And that was just how she treated anyone that came into our house. She would make them feel like this was their home and that, you know, they were part of the family. In addition to that, she was a substitute at within the school district, and what she would do is while I was in high school, she wouldn't tell me the days that she would come into sub. So I would hear from my friends walking in the hallways and things that, you know, I saw your mom in the cafe, like she's my sub for this class. And that's how I would find out she's in the building, and she might be like watching me in the halls and like seeing who I talk to and all of that. So she wouldn't tell any of us beforehand, so it was always a surprise to see her like walking past us or something like that. But anytime someone would tell me this, it would never be like, I saw your mom, I had to run the opposite direction, or like I saw your mom and I didn't want to say hi. It was always someone saying, I saw your mom and I like gave her a big hug. I saw your mom and I wanted to like talk to her, so we talked and had a good chat. Always very positive, and that was just the impact she had on everyone. There was no one that said anything bad about her. It was just always a positive flow of thoughts and conversation with whoever she engaged with. Another characteristic about her was that she had a very adventurous side to her, and only she and I and my whole family had this characteristic. Everyone else would be more calm, be serene, and it would kind of balance things out in the household. But when Hurricane Sandy came, she was the first one to say, let's go out on a walk, let's go out on a drive and see all the damage that has happened in the town. And it was advised that we all stay at home, you know, we don't use electricity. We try to conserve water, but she was the one who wanted us to get out of the house, drive around the whole town, see all the trees that had fallen down, see the floods, and she wanted us to actually get out of the car too and like step in the water and things, which was pretty dangerous now that I think about it. But she was just that type of person who wanted to get out there and see things for herself, and I think that's definitely rubbed off on me. And she was also someone who I take on like roller coasters with. We do all the craziest things. She took me skydiving for the first time, which was like something that had been on my bucket list for some time now. While the rest of the family would like sit in the shade and watch this happen and watch for us to come out. So I'll definitely miss that a lot. But she always said that she'd always be watching us and she would be with us every day. And I'm sure she's watching now and so happy and proud of all of her friends and family who came here today. So I just want to say like thank you for making this so special. And to conclude, while my mom is no longer here, she taught me how to be strong. She taught me how to be compassionate, to be loving, to be caring, to be the best version of myself, and that's something that lasts a lifetime. So I just wanted to say thank you again.
So I'm Ratan, and I'll share a few memories of Sonia. I think I saw her first time way back in July '87, and walking into the Goyal family and seeing this girl whose cheerfulness will not leave. 34 years, I think every time I met her throughout those years, the few qualities would always be there no matter what. And Rajan said is not the Sonia will ever leave us, but I think this is the time to cherish so many things, so many positive imprints she left with all of us. Starting with the cheerfulness, I think I can't recall any moment I met her when I saw her sad. And not that she was not facing difficulties in life like we all face, but she would always be cheerful. It was all her way of giving that positive smile, that positiveness to everybody else. And that perpetuated to so many qualities. I think all the time I would see if there was limited quantity available, she'll be the last one to have it. She would make sure everybody else gets satisfied first. That sense of giving, that sense of sacrificing, that sense of service perpetuated throughout her life. And I think that's you can see through all her actions, whether how she raised her kids, whether how she did the volunteering service at Bal Vihar and Chinmaya Ashram, and how she built relationships and bonds with such wonderful people we all have today here. It all comes down to her true sense of unselfishness. And I think the other thing is I would admire her is in the last 1 year itself, at least every time I met her, we would have this conversation on spirituality. And I could sense in terms of where the life is heading for her. But I probably had maybe a dozen conversations in terms of talking through Gita and spirituality with her. And at the end of the day, I felt I learned more from her than I talked to her. But the last I met her, day before her departure, I think I had probably about an hour, 2 hour conversation. And she was asking the questions, and it became pretty evident that probably I'm having the last conversation. But I could see also her resoluteness. I could see her determination. I could see her sense of peace, which made it easy for her, for her family. And I think I haven't seen anybody with her detail-oriented skills preparing her family so well. And her both daughters, Abhi, through these last 13 days, it has been very evident in terms of how her hard work has paid off in terms of family being able to go through the transition and carry on the values, the positivity, rather than focusing on what is not there. So let's cherish her values, the shining light she was with us, and the values she gave to everybody, which will be shining for a long time. Thank you all for coming.
I'm going to try.
The news about Sonia came as a shock to me. I didn't know she was sick. Um, that's how wonderful she was. She did not want anybody to know what she was going through, and she did not want to give her pain to anyone. I've known Sonia since my daughter Prachi and Alisha were in middle school together, and like so many of us said, I love her enthusiasm, the cheerful personality, and the enthusiasm to do anything, and just so brave. She has some good memories of us going on rafting trips, and we are so nervous and so worried, and she's like, no, you can do it. I cannot swim. No, you'll be fine. And she's there with the vest and helping us through. She got our girls to eventually join a rowing team. That was, I never thought my daughter would ever be able to do that or would do it, but she rallied. She got all the girls together and she got them to join the rowing, and they did it. And also got them together to form these SAT classes. I mean, there are just so many things that she just didn't think about her own daughter, but for everyone, and she got everyone together. My last memory of her is I met her at my gym, and she said, "Suparna, you cannot swim. I will help you." And she was with me in 4 feet of deep water. I was afraid of sinking. And she said, "No, I'll hold your hand." And she literally helped me through the pool, and we were there for an hour. And she said, "See, you can do it." And she would gently leave her hand, and she said, "See, you could do it." A brave soul. I will miss her, and I'm really proud of her daughters. And thank you for the friendship that I had, the number of years that I got with her.
So I've known Sonia Didi and the entire family since 6 to 7 years. And honestly, I didn't have the heart to come here today because somehow I thought, if I'm not there in my mind, I'll believe she's still there. We're just not talking. Like everyone said, she was the sweetest, kindest person I've come across. And I know the first time I met her, she was so welcoming. It didn't feel like I'm just meeting her. It felt like I've known her from, I don't know, ages. And she was like the elder sister, so motherly, so loving. She provided me a family here in US when I was all by myself. And she made sure that I'm part of every celebration with the family, and she would, pull me in, take us out. We went for like fun fairs and we played games and we had parties. She made sure I'm there as part of the fun that we had. I'm so glad that I got to see her just a few days before this happened. And even at that time, I recently got married and she was not able to make to the wedding. So instead of me talking about her, she was saying that, I feel bad that I didn't give you a gift for your wedding. I'm like, oh my God, stop, Didi. What are you thinking about? Like, she was that kind of a person. She would not talk about her own pain, but she would make sure that other people are well and are taken care of. And she had, like Natasha said, she had a fun side, adventurous side, which I got a glimpse of when I would like to share something. So when 2 years back, when I was looking for, like my parents were looking for marriage and guy and all that, and then she tells me, Beta, make sure you're a gem, make him work. Don't give away so easily. Make sure you test him properly. And then she told me some fun stories about her and Abhi, and I was like, oh my God, Didi, you're so... I had never seen that side of you. That was... She made sure that, it was all about positivity and seeing the positive side, even in the worst situation. I really miss her, and I'm so proud of Alicia, Natasha, of course, Abhi and Krishna, that they've grown so much to take the positivity from her, learn from her, and stay strong by her. And I hope all the strength and love. And I know Sonia Didi is watching us. I miss her.
I think my husband and I, we met Abhi and Sonia a little bit later because we met her because our sons, Jai and Krishna, are the same age. And I remember the first time we met at the JW Tumbles down in Plainsboro. And our boys, you know, were in the same mommy and me class. And just throughout the years, our boys have been at the same school, so we've always connected with activities and things like that. But I think like what everyone has said here, she was just a light, really. It was a shock to me actually to hear the news as well. So still got processing it, but she was just the loveliest person. And it was so helpful because she had two older daughters, so we would, you know, call or text about, you know, activities or school things that she would recommend because she went through it before. You know, if you're a parent, it's always great to have that one friend who's kind of been through it before and who offers all the advice. So she was always really helpful. She would say, "Oh, take this class, try this, do that." I said, "Oh, okay." And she was always right. She just kind of knew how things were, and the last time I saw her was probably over a year ago. So I just kind of was sitting this morning thinking about all the interactions we've had and the things that we've done together, and it's just so wonderful to hear all the stories and to hear all the experiences that people have had, because I also have had those similar experiences with her, and it really is that she just touched everyone so much, and just really it's really hard, but I think it's wonderful that we're able to get together and celebrate her life here. So thank you.
My name is Tori, and I met Sonia about 15 years ago, and our daughters did Girl Scouts together, and we would volunteer at different events, and we would talk. And she had this way of just making you feel that you were so important, and that you mattered, and that she cared about you. She was such a beautiful person, a wonderful friend, who I really, really would have loved to have gotten to have more memories with. Our sons also played on the soccer team that Abhi coached, and we'd be talking on the sidelines, and she'd look up and say, you know, "Hey, Aaron just got a goal," or she would cheer for your child as much as her own child. And at the same time, she'd be making you feel like you were the only person on earth that mattered. She just was so inquisitive. So she imparted so much wisdom in everything that she ever talked about. She just had answers. She was such a beautiful light, a wonderful friend. The last time I saw Sonia, our daughters were seniors, and it was towards the end of the year, and I don't even know why. We were leaving a track meet or something, and the sun was just setting. And my daughter and I were leaving in the car, and it was like the world stopped, and it was Sonia and Natasha were walking right towards us. And I don't even know if there were cars trying to get by us. I don't even know if we stopped traffic. I don't know. But in that moment, when we were there, it was like all time had stopped. And we caught up and we laughed and we talked about our lives, and it was so special, and it will always be with me because, again, Sonia was special. She was so special and so magical, and her voice was a song. She would just talk to you in this voice that was like a song. She had so many gifts, and I'm just so very grateful to have gotten to know her. I'll miss you, Sonia.
Would anyone else like to speak? Okay, so I will start my speech then, which is a little lengthy. So when I think of mom, I think of her beautiful smile, adorable laugh, her sense of humor, her crazy risk appetite, how much she cared about others, and her determination to get literally anything in the world accomplished. If any of you have watched I Love Lucy, which was also mom's favorite show, she was so much like Lucy with her exaggerated expressions and positivity and humor. Prior to her illness, I never realized how many close relationships she had built over these many years. And like many others have said, this was largely driven by her warm energy, smile, humor, and how much she cared about people. When her sickness started and when we made it publicly known, I remember being really surprised at how many people were willing to help us. People were even willing to move in with us to help with the caregiving. We always joke that mom had the biggest fan club out of anyone we know, and that people need to make appointments to come visit her. Unfortunately, we were not taking any visitors for the majority of her illness because of COVID, but in the end, when we were finally able to have very limited visits, her voice was mostly gone. Even then, she was the one smiling, driving the conversation, and making whatever jokes she could muster up. Mom even had such a big impact on complete strangers that she had only talked to over the phone. Even Teresa, who was her health insurance case manager, who we literally had only talked to on the phone, would call her and talk to her so lovingly and just chit-chat with no insurance or business-related questions. Only because of Mom's amazing connections and close friends did we have this many people to lean on for support, especially this past year and going forward, and we are so grateful for that. If there's one thing I've learned from Mom, it's how to treat everyone around you with genuine love and care and how important that is. A friend of Mom's who visited us a few weeks back had mentioned that Mom always had this crazy love for everyone, but especially for her kids. After being her kid for 23 years, I can definitely agree with that statement. And to this day, I've never seen anyone who would go to the lengths she went to take care of us. When I was in college, I had to stay home for a year to have a surgery. The procedure was simple and risk-free, but Mom being Mom went to tremendous lengths to make sure there was no room for mistakes. When we signed the paperwork for the surgery, there's a line that says that the surgeon and the residents will be performing the procedure. She made them cross out these lines and say that just the surgeon will be performing the procedure. She even somehow met the different anesthesiologists, identified the one with the most experience, and made sure that person would be my anesthesiologist, all for a very simple procedure. When the surgery day came and I was actually in the operating room, I was half expecting her to walk in and direct the whole thing. I would not put that past her at all. After my surgery, I couldn't walk upstairs, so she slept on the floor next to me for 1 year and took care of my every single need. Like this, she went above and beyond in every single situation to provide us with the maximum care and protection. Even during her last few months, when she was in excruciating pain and discomfort, she was focused on taking care of us kids and making sure we had all the tools we need to continue on after her departure. She had detailed notes on so many things. There were probably over 1,000 pages of handwritten notes, but none of us can read her handwriting. So I sat with her and transcribed every single page of it slowly. So now we have all her research and knowledge available to us. So even during all of her illness, her whole focus was on us and making sure we would all be okay. I would be the one asking her if we could take a walk, order her favorite food, plan a vacation when she had more mobility. When her hand was working, I tried to get us to paint together. But all that mattered to her was our well-being. The only thing she kept saying that she wanted to do was get better so she could go back to volunteer at Chinmaya mission. That's literally all she wanted. She had no other selfish desires. When she was healthy, she took every opportunity to enjoy all the amazing things life has to offer, and took us on so many spontaneous and crazy adventures. Some of my favorites are when she and I went to New York at 4 a.m. to see a 6 a.m. Imagine Dragons concert, walking across a tightrope in Mexico with sharks and manatees below us when I could barely even reach the rope, when we went to the Olympics in Brazil, the many camping trips we've been on, encounters with bears and wolves in the Grand Canyon, skiing, doing every type of ocean activity possible, particularly snorkeling with barracudas and sharks. And whenever she would see a barracuda, she would swim directly towards it for some reason. But I never would have done these things without Mom orchestrating this and giving us the little push we needed to do these fun things. One thing I really miss about her is how there was no such thing as impossible with her. She could literally get anything done, despite how small the odds were. It was a tremendous blessing for all of us to know that no matter what situation we were ever in, Mom would be able to handle it. There were so many times where we got to the airport in time and made our flight just because she had the ability to drive through hurricanes, torrential rains. Even in India, when we left for the airport 15 hours early and had a 5-hour cushion, the driver kept messing up and we were going to miss our flight. She basically took over the driving in India. This was last year before she got sick, and we got there just in time for our international flight. Her determination has always been incredible, and that continued throughout her illness as well. She did beyond the maximum humanly possible to try to heal. She tried everything from intense meditation to acupuncture, Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, homeopathic medicine, drastic diet changes, supplements, off-label treatments, magnetic neural stimulation, and so many other things. Back in earlier stages, when she could still walk with a lot of difficulty, she would insist on trying to climb the staircase at night to sleep in her room for as long as possible. It was literally like a marathon for her, and the whole stair climbing process would take more than 30 minutes. We'd have to help support her legs, take a lot of breaks, but she was so determined, and we managed like this for many, many nights in the beginning. She never once gave up and turned around. She was so courageous and determined to heal and continued to do the impossible throughout her illness in so many different ways. While she didn't heal in the traditional sense, she healed in a much greater sense than we can understand, and is in a divine place now, able to do so much more than she could do in this human form. I've always hated being the oldest child, but now I feel so blessed to be the oldest and to be able to have spent the maximum amount of time with her. I will miss her so much, as we all will, but she has left us with so many incredible memories and life lessons, and I know we will also be able to live life to the fullest just as she did. Thank you.
Namaskar everyone. Today we have gathered to say a few words for a beloved soul of Mrs. Sonia Abhi Kanitkar. Being a younger sister with a deep sorrow in my heart, I would like to say a few words for her. Although I know these few words are not enough for her. A loving sister, a childhood playmate who always had a sweet smile on her face, welcomed everyone with open hands, loved them and cared them, has left for heavenly abode, but will remain in our hearts forever. My mind knows you are at a better place, where there is no pain. You are at peace. I wish I could explain that to my heart. Wish we will meet again in next life. Rest in peace, my dear Dee. Love you and will miss you for sure. Regards, Alka.
I'm talking about Sonia. Sonia, to whom we used to call Choti. My pyari Choti. You were always adorable. I remember a few things I want to share. When you were very little, I think when we were all little, once I went to your home and we were preparing breakfast. We did the bread, and as we toasted the bread, two of the breads got really burnt, we call it well done. And she said, "Nay, Shama, I'll give you this one. This is not well done. I will eat this one." So you were always like that, so caring, so loving, so thinking about others before you. Another incident, you had two cats, Kalu and Bhuru, and I don't remember which one died first. And you were the one who actually did the full burial ceremony for that. And you cried for weeks together, and you always asked like, oh, she will be in a better place, Didi. She will ask the Rita Didi, and you'll say, Rita Didi, are you sure she's in a better place? You were so attached to everybody. You are always so loving, so caring, so loving. We love you. We love you, my darling. We love you.
Hello. I just wanted to say that Sonia was one of the sweetest, most cheerful, kind, and loving people that I've ever met. When I was looking for a roommate during our first phone conversation, just by hearing her voice, I knew that she was the right person to be my roommate, and I knew that we would be really good friends. When we lived together, she taught me how to cook Indian food like vegetable pulao and kheer. And one of the most memorable things about Sonia and food was that she loved to put ketchup on everything, just everything. I don't know whether it was an Indian tradition or whether it was just Sonia, but she loved ketchup. Anyway, after we both got married, we kind of went our separate ways, but we kept in touch with each other more or less. I'm going to miss you, Sonia. Until we meet again, dear. Love you.
Sonia, कितनी प्यारी है तू. You're so cute. That's her favorite dialogue. For everybody, she is like, everybody is so cute to her. उसका बेस्ट इंसिडेंट है जब राजू भैया और संगीता की शादी हुई, क्योंकि उनकी शादी 3 दिन के डिफरेंस से थी. तो बोलती है, क्या करूँ शमा, जिधर जाती उधर जोड़ा, उधर जाती उधर जोड़ा, मैं तो किल्ली रह गई, मैं तो फंस गई, मुझे तो पता नहीं मैं क्या करूँ. सो इनोसेंट शी वॉज. एंड देन जब भी अमेरिका आना था तो अमेरिका के लिए एक बार उसका वीज़ा रिजेक्ट हो गया. तो दूसरी दफ़ा आई घर पे एंड शी सेड, देख शमा, मैं कैसे छोटी 2 चोटियाँ करके ना और बड़ी टाइट सी बांध के गई. तो मैंने बोला, ऐसा लगता है कि मेरी शादी होगी, मैं भी शादी लेके आया, मैं तो छोटी बच्ची हूँ, मैं तो स्कूल में पढ़ने जा रही हूँ और मैं तो अपने भाई के पास जा रही हूँ. तो बस उन्होंने मुझे वीज़ा दे दिया. सो लुक, दिस इज हाउ इट वर्क. ना तो अमेरिका आती, ना तो इतने प्यारे अभी से मिलती, अभी से नहीं मिलती तो कैसे इतने प्यारे बच्चे आते. दे आर सो ब्यूटिफुल किड्स. एंड अभी यू आर वेरी लकी यू हैड सोनिया इन योर लाइफ.
नारायण नारायण जय जय गोविंद हरे. ओम नारायण नारायण जय जय गोपाल हरे.
नारायण नारायण जय जय गोविंद हरे. ओम नारायण नारायण जय जय गोपाल हरे.
नारायण नारायण जय जय गोविंद हरे. ओम नारायण नारायण जय जय गोपाल हरे.
नारायण नारायण जय जय गोविंद हरे. ओम नारायण नारायण जय जय गोपाल हरे.
नारायण नारायण जय जय गोविंद हरे. ओम नारायण नारायण जय जय गोपाल हरे.
नारायण नारायण जय जय गोविंद हरे. ओम नारायण नारायण जय जय गोपाल हरे.
नारायण श्रीमन्नारायण. नारायण वेदपारायण.
नारायण श्रीमन्नारायण. नारायण वेदपारायण.
नारायण लक्ष्मीनारायण. नारायण സൂര്യനാരായണ
നാരായണ ലക്ഷ്മി നാരായണ നാരായണ സൂര്യനാരായണ
നാരായണ സത്യനാരായണ നാരായണ ഹരിനാരായണ
നാരായണ സത്യനാരായണ നാരായണ ഹരിനാരായണ
നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോവിന്ദ ഹരേ ഓം നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോപാല ഹരേ
നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോവിന്ദ ഹരേ ഓം നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോപാല ഹരേ
നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോവിന്ദ ഹരേ ഓം നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോപാല ഹരേ
നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോവിന്ദ ഹരേ ഓം നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോപാല ഹരേ
कलो कल्मषचित्तानां पापद्रव्योपजीवना विधिक्रियाविहीनानां गतिर्गोविन्दकीर्तनम् गतिर्गोविन्दकीर्तनम्
ഗോവിന്ദം ഭജരേ മാനസ ഗോപാലം ഭജരേ
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 നാരായണ ഭജരേ ശ്രീമന്നാരായണ ഭജരേ
നാരായണ ഭജരേ ശ്രീമന്നാരായണ ഭജരേ
നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോവിന്ദ ഹരേ ഓം നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോപാല ഹരേ
നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോവിന്ദ ഹരേ ഓം നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോപാല ഹരേ
നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോവിന്ദ ഹരേ ഓം നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോപാല ഹരേ
നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോവിന്ദ ഹരേ ഓം നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോപാല ഹരേ ഓം നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോപാല ഹരേ ഓം നാരായണ നാരായണ ജയ ജയ ഗോപാല ഹരേ जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां मुदाकरातमोदकं सदा विमुक्तिसाधकं कलाधरावतंसकं विलासिलोकरक्षकम् अनायकैकनायकं विनाशुते भदैत्यकं नाथाशुभाशुनाशकं नमामि तं विनायकम् जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां
न तेतरातिभीकरं न वोदितार्कभास्वरं न मत्सुरारिनिर्जरं न ताधिकापदुद्धरं सुरेश्वरं निधीश्वरं गजेश्वरं गणेश्वरं महेश्वरं तमाश्रये परात्परं निरन्तरम्
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां
अकिञ्चनार्तिमार्जनं चिरन्तनोक्तिभाजनं पुरारिपूर्वनन्दनं सुरारिगर्वचर्वणं प्रपञ्चनाशभीषणं धनञ्जयादिभूषणं कपोलदानवारणं भजे पुराणवारणम्
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां नितान्तकान्तदन्तकान्तिमन्तकान्तकात्मजम् अचिन्त्यरूपमन्तहीनमन्तराय चिन्तनं हृदन्तरे निरन्तरं वसन्तमेव योगिनां तमेकदन्तमेव तं विचिन्तयामि सन्ततम् जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां
महागणेश पञ्चरत्नमादरेण योऽन्वहं प्रजल्पति प्रभातके हृदि स्मरन् गणेश्वरम् अरोगतामदोषतां सुसाहितीं सुपुत्रतां समाहितायुरष्टभूतिमभ्युपैति सोचिरात्
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश पाहि मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश रक्ष मां जय गणेश रक्ष मां
भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो 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 भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो वासुदेवाय।
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट,
भक्त जनों के संकट
क्षण में दूर करे।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
जो ध्यावे फल पावे, दुख बिन से मन का। स्वामी दुख बिन से मन का। सुख संपत्ति घर आवे,
सुख संपत्ति घर आवे।
कष्ट मिटे तन का।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
मात पिता तुम मेरे, शरण गहूँ मैं किसकी। स्वामी शरण गहूँ मैं किसकी। तुम बिन और न दूजा,
तुम बिन और न दूजा।
आस करूं जिसकी।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
तुम पूर्ण परमात्मा, तुम अंतर्यामी। स्वामी तुम अंतर्यामी। पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर,
पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर।
तुम सबके स्वामी।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
तुम करुणा के सागर, तुम पालन करता। स्वामी तुम पालन करता। मैं मूरख खल कामी,
मैं मूरख खल कामी।
कृपा करो भरता।
ओम जय जय हरे।
तुम हो एक अगोचर सबके प्राणपति, स्वामी सबके प्राणपति। किस विधि मिलूं दया मैं,
किस विधि मिलूं दया मैं,
तुमको मैं कुमति।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
दीन बंधु दुख हरता तुम ठाकुर मेरे, स्वामी तुम ठाकुर मेरे। अपने हाथ बढ़ाओ,
अपने हाथ बढ़ाओ,
द्वार पड़ा तेरे।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
विषय विकार मिटाओ, पाप हरो देवा, स्वामी पाप हरो देवा। श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ,
श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ,
संतन की सेवा।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
तन मन धन सब कुछ है, सब कुछ है तेरा प्रभु, सब कुछ है तेरा। तेरा तुझको अर्पण,
तेरा तुझको अर्पण,
क्या लागे मेरा।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट,
भक्त जनों के संकट,
क्षण में दूर करे।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट,
भक्त जनों के संकट,
क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे। स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट, भक्त जनों के संकट, छिन्न में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश।
Mom, we're going on a hike. It's like a hike. You have to hold me. I will touch you. Extreme sports. You did it. Oh God. And look, those people can help us out. Yeah. Okay.
You might want to raise your feet.
Go slow, Mom.
Raise more.
No, Mom is racing.
No, it's Dancy.
She's preparing for the wheelchair race.
She's really getting jostled around.
It gets smooth up. Slow, Mom.
She's going off-road. Wee!
This is a roller coaster, Mom. Excited.
Mom, go forward.
She can't go forward.
Just go backward. just charged into the snow. Okay.
Here comes the rover. There she goes.